So after two races of the 2025 season, Max Verstappen and George Russell have a win each. Can their teammates Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc signal their title ambitions at Singapore Sprint Weekend? Hello folks, welcome back to F1 Manager with Mercedes. This is episode 50. Thank you so much if you have stuck with this series from the beginning. If you joined partway through, welcome along for the ride. And if this is your first episode, welcome along too. You're in for, hopefully, a bit of a treat. We have got a sprint weekend in Singapore, which was chosen by a wheel spinner. Go back to the opening season for opening episode for season 3, a couple of episodes back, for all the calendar shenanigans that have gone down. But so far, it's been pretty good. We've had a podium and a victory for George Russell. Lewis Hamilton on the podium in the last race in Suzuka. Charles Leclerc now drives for Red Bull. Max Verstappen leads the way at the top of the World Championship, which isn't something we've become unaccustomed to in recent times. But he's only 4 points ahead of George Russell. So, that's probably the thing that's most surprising. In the Constructors' Championship, it's a 7-point gap between Mercedes and Red Bull. I've not been able to put any upgrades on the car, but we have had some upgrades in the background. And I didn't mention this, I forgot to mention it at the end of last season, but we've actually upgraded everything car development wise to level 4. So as you can see, everything is basically in pristine condition, 100% effectiveness, which means we get more project capacity, more engineers. Hopefully that can serve us well in the future. Maybe we need to invest in some of this though, which I'll probably do off camera and then just sort of update you. Our helipad is in terrible condition. Basically, helicopters will be falling through the roof, according to that. I'll deal with that off screen, but for now, we're going to dive straight into qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix, which also has a sprint and a propensity for safety cars and red flags. This could be a long episode. Strap in, guys, because I think we might be about to see some chaos. Alright, we've managed to get to Q3 in what has been a tricky session to negotiate. We had rain in Q1, rain in Q2. I think we've got rain coming in Q3 as well. It's going to be a one and done here in Singapore qualifying. So we've not been able to quite match the pace of the Red Bulls. We were actually separated by Perez's Ferrari in the last session. So I'm going to send my drivers out now. And I think that's Verstappen going there. Russell will be behind Verstappen. So let's have a look at this. Stroll will lead them out, then Leclerc and Hamilton. If the rain comes, everyone at the back, which could be the two McLarens and Behrman, could be in a little bit of trouble, or they might have timed it perfectly and have that little bit of extra rubber on the circuit. Stroll will be the first driver to set a benchmark then, but let's have a look at the sector times and see who can do what. We'll follow Lewis Hamilton. He's chasing Charles Leclerc, so we'll get almost a direct comparison here because it's Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull, Mercedes. Hamilton actually the fastest man in the first sector, quicker than Verstappen, quicker than Russell. 26.7 for Russell, 26.6 for Hamilton. Sector 2 times will be coming up very shortly. Stroll will be the first one there. He of course goes fastest, as does Leclerc, but Hamilton is purple everywhere right now. George Russell, 36.3, marginally quicker than his teammate. Okay, here comes Charles Leclerc. What can he do? He'll go fastest to begin with. Hamilton goes to the top of the times. What about Verstappen? Has he done something? He goes second. George Russell, it's a Mercedes front row. Lewis Hamilton has pole position for the sprint as the rain arrives. 22 thousandths in it. We've beaten Red Bull by a tenth. Leclerc actually the first man across the line with the slowest of the 4 laps. And that means it's an all Mercedes front row for the sprint. The rain is coming. It's not going to stop. That is the session done. Now we need to convert this into a sprint and Grand Prix win. Is this the moment that Lewis Hamilton steps up his charge for that 8th world title? Might be. Let's go to the sprint and find out. Alright, sprint time in Singapore, and it's suggesting mediums. I'm wondering if we got a fresh set. We've got 2 fresh sets of softs for George Russell, but we do also have 3 sets of mediums. We might as well use the mediums because we can push on them. If we go aggressive, yeah. So we're going to want to push on the tyres and make the most of them. Hamilton's actually used a set of mediums. That's not ideal. He's still got 2 sets of softs though. Okay, that's interesting. I did simulate practice 2 because it's pointless. So yeah, 20 laps of the Singapore circuit. I'm going to underfuel a little bit because I am fully expecting a safety car or even a red flag in this. This could be pretty wild or it could be very dull, but we have locked out the front row for the sprint. Aim at the sprint, make sure we're still locking out the front row from the Grand Prix. Alright, apparently the Singapore sprint takes place in the daytimes. It's an all Mercedes front row, the lights are out, the race is on, and that's not Lewis Hamilton, that's Lewis Hamilton that we're looking at. Verstappen looks like he's got a decent start, and Russell is trying to defend. Actually, Verstappen, everybody's on the socks. Why? Why have I done this? Okay, alright, well, hopefully this will pay dividends later on. What I'm going to ask George to do at the moment is not to fight his teammate. We do just want to try and break away at the front. Hopefully the softs fall apart at some point in this race. It's going to be really hot as well, so they're going to have to manage those tyres a bit more. Verstappen just 0.8 of a second behind Russell. And Leclerc has successfully left Norris behind. We've got a virtual safety car. There we go. Someone has binned it, which is Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. He's just crashed at the final corner. He's done a Lance Stroll. Whoopsie daisy, and that is a double impact with the barrier. The Ferrari want new parts for free. In the spirit of being Mercedes team boss, I'm going to block that. They can't have them. They have to pay double, in fact, and have a double penalty. I'm going to insist on it. Right, Carlos Sainz out of the sprint. 5 laps to go after the one that they are on. And interestingly, the Red Bull's tyres are starting to fall apart. Lando Norris, with his insane smoothness stat, is keeping his tyres in good nick. We've got a red flag. That all goes out the window. Logan Sargent has binned it and caused a red flag. Yep. The Alfa Romeo just trying to sneak past. Okay, well, red flag time, which isn't particularly helpful because we're now going to have to use a set of softs. George has got that set he can use. I'm sure the Red Bulls will go to fresh softs. Right, let's do that. Lewis has got a very, very used set. He's gonna have to use a set of fresh ones. Okay, so this might get Red Bull out of jail. Helps us with our fuel, which means we can push right to the end. So for the second time in the sprint, we're going to have 5 red lights. Here we go. Hamilton and Russell on the front row. Lights out. The race is on. And yes, everybody's gone to a fresh set of softs, which means they don't have any fresh ones for the race. We will have at least one fresh set of tyres, soft tyres, for the Grand Prix. Is Verstappen going to find a way through? He is. That is really annoying. That's really not good. We're still in. That's why he's pushing at the moment. We're not doing any of that. Hamilton needs to scarper. We need to skedaddle and get away. We also need George Russell to get back into second position, but I don't think we're going to have the pace. We're just attacking all the tyres because we can. Right, Russell, I'm going to ask you to start driving in clean air. Here we go then, final lap. And George Russell is trying to overtake Verstappen. We're going to deploy on this lap with George. Here we go. Driving clean air. He's actually looking through turn 5 for the overtake. Are we going to find a way through? Driving clean air, George. Go for it. High overtake aggression. Here we go. Verstappen's got DRS as well. That is incredibly frustrating.
Just show me what you got.
Lewis needs to pull the gap here if he can. And then we'll find a way through, hopefully, with the second DRS zone of the lap. Tyres are too hot. It doesn't matter. They don't need to go much further. Verstappen will still have DRS. Oh, no, not that camera. This one will do. George Russell's going through. No, he's not. Oh, no. So close. And Hamilton has now pulled out of 1 second. But it's too late. But for Lewis, this is a massive step in the right direction. What was that? Why were we getting that camera angle? Doesn't matter. Lewis Hamilton wins the sprint in Singapore. Verstappen, the jammy little dodger, sneaks a second place. Russell will have to settle for third, but he has 2 sets of fresh soft tyres for the Grand Prix, which make him very, very dangerous. Strategies all set then for the Singapore Grand Prix. I have underfueled quite heavily actually, considering the chaos in the sprint. I'm expecting more of it, so safety cars, VSCs, maybe even more red flags. Soft, medium, soft for George Russell. Soft, medium, medium for Lewis Hamilton. He's only got 1 set of brand new softs to use. He's going to use those at the start and then do the rest of the race on mediums. Red Bull don't have any new sets of softs, so I think they'll end up on this strategy, the one stop, which means they'll probably have track position in the final third of the race, but we're going to have better tyres. So hopefully, that's assuming it's a straightforward race. But yeah, hopefully we can make the overtakes, but there could be some chaos awaiting us. Let's do a motor race and see if there is. Right, 5 red lights. We are under the lights again in Singapore. The lights are out, the race is on. Verstappen on the front row makes a decent start, but here comes George Russell. Is he going to sweep right round the outside? Oh, he's looking like it. Hamilton has retained the lead, and Verstappen is focusing more on his championship rival from last season. And I think George Russell is immediately going to go for P2. Excellent stuff from George Russell. The world champion gets himself back into second position where he was in the sprint. And now we're not going to fight. We're just going to pull away. Job done in terms of restoring that 1-2 position that we'd earned in qualifying and held through the sprint. Now we just need to make sure our tyres don't melt. Lap 13 might be unlucky for some, but right now we are 7 seconds clear of Verstappen. Last lap around we were almost a second faster. We've just both done 33 flats. We have been deploying because we collected some extra energy. Let's see what the Red Bulls do. They are 1.3 seconds slower than us right now. We are light on fuel, so we are conserving, and we're on faster tyres, so it's important now that we do build that gap. I would suggest that the Red Bulls are on the, well, at least Verstappen's on the one stop. Leclerc is just tailing along with his teammate, I would say, by the look of that. And he will be in a pretty short time as well. Hamilton a few laps out from his pit stop window, which is okay because he'll undercut Russell and then keep the lead, I would say. But then we're going to have to give up track position to Verstappen, who I'm sure will go to a set of hards at some point. Lewis is coming in at the end of this lap. He's used plenty of the tyre. George Russell will now start to go aggressive on his tyres. let's see then where Lewis Hamilton comes out. Verstappen has gone through. Hopefully it's a good stop. 2.9 seconds. I'm okay with that. Leclerc has made his way back up to 13th. We have actually dropped out in front of Ricciardo. We've only come out in 6th. We lost 26 seconds there, which actually not bad at all. Not bad at all. We'll deploy with Lewis and really make the most of this new tyre to close the gap. His gap to Verstappen is, what, 18 seconds? So now we just try and build some sort of gap to the Dutchman so that he's got even further to catch us when he eventually pits, which won't be for some time yet. Russell in, and it's a decent stop. Hamilton's just overtaken Esteban Ocon and now is third. Sure, he will go back out. Russell will come out behind him. Hamilton just sets a new fastest lap, a 32 flat. 3 seconds quicker than Verstappen. That's insane. So the gap at the front is 12 seconds. Russell returns to the track in P4. We do have some fuel to save, but we are massively fast right now. Russell, let's deploy with you and put in some decent laps as well. Verstappen is now into the pit lane. This is much earlier than I thought it would be. Maybe he's converting to a 2-stop. Well, that's a set of hards. So how far will a set of hard tyres go? 53 laps. Surely they're not going to leave him out on a set of hards, are they? He's going to pop out in 6th behind Magnussen. Has anyone else gone to the hards? No, although Jack Doohan's also in and also on the hards. We've got a red flag. Esteban Ocon has crashed. Okay, brilliant. Verstappen will be seething about this because he could have had a free pit stop, but Ocon has chosen that moment as Verstappen pits to crash at turn 7. Okay. So we still have the front row. We might as well stay on the mediums. George, we might as well put on maybe a fresh set of mediums. Although they're fairly new. I'm just going to keep those on. Lewis has only got a fresh set of hards or a fresh set of mediums to go to. I'm not going to put the hards on. I'm just going to keep them as they are. There's no point. Verstappen will go up to 5th. Ocon out of the race. Alright, so for the 4th... Oh, what's going on? They've all left the grid. And there was no lights. What's going on? Russell's taken the lead. This is... what's going on? Magnussen's in 3rd. I don't like it. This is too much crazy.
Not worried about using the tyres.
Deploy. Hamilton now leads. What's going on? Russell was definitely first. I am confused. Russell definitely took the lead, didn't he? I didn't miss Hamilton retaking it, did I? I'll have to watch this back, but Kevin Magnussen could do us a massive solid and just hold everybody up. Right, I figured out why Russell was in the lead, and then I looked back and Hamilton wasn't in the lead, was in the lead, and there was a big gap. That's because George Russell still has "Don't Fight" teammate on. So, because you can't change those instructions and set the attack mode, sort of this bar down the bottom during a red flag, we basically were stuck with what we were in before the red flag. And Verstappen is mighty fast right now that he's got past Magnussen. So he's going to be a threat right now. But I think we if we just do what we did in the sprint, I think we'll be okay. Max Verstappen has overtaken George Russell. And now Lewis Hamilton is exposed. So we're going to have to deploy here with Lewis, see if we can break away a little bit. But Verstappen's fresher tyres are starting to pay dividends. This red flag might have just hindered us a bit. Here comes Verstappen. He takes the lead. And he is just benefiting from red flags all over the place. Hamilton, though, hopefully, will come back past with the DRS. That was not a smart move from Max Verstappen. Impatience gets the better of him. And we snatch the lead straight back. Now, Russell, we need to close up the gap to that lead pair. He's actually just dropped outside a second. He did still get DRS. We need him to close the gap and be part of this fight. But his pace has just disappeared all of a sudden. What was his lap time last time around? A 34.1. Let's turn the fuel back up on both cars. We should be able to save all that fuel from here. We could just conserve again later if we need to. Verstappen shows some patience this time to retake the lead. Although Hamilton makes a fist of it. Hopefully we... well, actually, Lewis is still on rarely defend. That would explain it. And also Russell is avoiding the high-risk curbs. So here comes Hamilton looking for that way back past. Batteries are drained. Let's tee this back up. Right, here we go. Hamilton driving clean air. We are deploying, but we are not finding a way through. Right, we're a few laps out from Hamilton's pit stop. He's got Russell right behind him, but he's looking for a way past Verstappen, and I think we might be about to get it. Indeed, we do not. I teed that up far too cheerfully, and we didn't get the move done. Okay, we'll just keep trying. Alright, Hamilton has dropped out of DRS range because I wanted to harvest some energy. We're now going to ask him to attack. But he's also about to come into the pit lane, so we'll do that. Set of mediums for Lewis. George is a few laps out still from his stop. We'll deploy, see if we can close the gap. It's now actually nearly 2 seconds. That decision to harvest some energy has not worked out well for us. Leclerc is now the Red Bull we are fighting, but we are going to undercut Verstappen here, and we'll see where this drops us back out. The field is quite close together. Russell now 3 seconds behind. Here we go then. Good stop please, chaps. There we go. 3.1. Not great. Here comes Leclerc. Red Bull now lead this race, and I'm really not happy about it because this red flag has absolutely torn our strategy apart. Verstappen has pitted. I've just spotted this, and he's gone onto another set of mediums and retains his lead over Hamilton, who's just passed Behrman. Okay, so Leclerc and Russell are now in the lead. Russell's in a great position here because he's going to a set of softs, and in fact he's doing that this lap. But if we can get Lewis to catch Verstappen, we need to deploy actually and really go for it. I would assume Leclerc's coming in this lap as well. No, the Monegasque stays out. Soft tyres onto the world champion, and he comes out behind Behrman. Right, Hamilton, we need aggressive overtakes. He's going for it here. Round the outside of Doohan, easily dispatched. Now we need to catch the Red Bull ahead. Once we get DRS, we should be good to go. Russell immediately overtaking Behrman. Alright, we're going to have a decision to make here. We are 3.5 seconds behind Verstappen. Lewis is going to need to allow George Russell through, who's now right behind him and absolutely flying. So we'll ask George to drive in clean air here. Lewis, you need to let your teammate through, mate. Leclerc's still out, and Verstappen is very fast. What did the Dutchman do? 30.5. Yeah, we need to just ask Lewis not to fight his teammate. There we go. Neutral on the defence. Lewis unfortunately had to give up that track position. The red flag really didn't help. And Hamilton immediately outside DRS range to his teammate, who's also deploying. We've got a lot of work to do to catch Verstappen. But there's still more than 15 laps remaining. So as long as the tyres hang on, I think we'll be okay. Alright, Russell has caught Lance Stroll. We need to get him past the Canadian ASAP. So high overtake aggression, please, George. Sure, we'll go past here. We are still driving in clean air. Here we go, down the inside of the Canadian, who's actually on a set of hards. Thanks very much. Although the move might not be done yet. Will the Aston Martin come back? No. Russell now just 7 seconds off the lead. Verstappen much faster than his teammate, almost 2 seconds, but Russell almost 3 seconds faster than Leclerc. We just need to keep the tyres in good shape and then everything will be okay. Hamilton now needs to overtake Stroll as well. He's going to do exactly that into turn 1. Job done there. But Russell's still best part of 2.3 seconds faster there. What's the lead to the leader? It's just 3.5 seconds as Verstappen now takes the lead from his teammate who's on absolutely cream cracker tyres. Verstappen, I think, is probably going to win this race. And that's really, really frustrating considering twice this weekend we've had complete control of everything, but the red flags have just absolutely stymied us at the worst possible times. We need George to drive in clean air. We'll standardise the tyres. And through goes George Russell. Hamilton is a couple of seconds behind on those ageing mediums. We're now 3.3 behind Verstappen. Can Russell catch his title rival and snatch the win? Leclerc's just pitted. Why? What's the point? He's going to fall out the points, surely. Alright, we've got to within 3 seconds of Verstappen, but we're not really making that much. Although Verstappen did a 31.6 last time round. Here he comes this time around a 30.8 and Russell a 31.3. We've just lost half a second. The tyres have gone past 50% remaining, which means they've become significantly slower. I think Verstappen's got this one wrapped up, which is incredibly annoying. He doesn't deserve the victory. He's not been that fast. He's just got plain lucky. But sometimes it is better to be lucky than good. I only like it when we get to be lucky, not when anybody else does. Shout out to Kevin Magnussen in P5, by the way. Looks like we're going to have to settle for second and third today. Mightily disappointing. Let's just go to the end of the race, put us out of our misery, because we've had this race under control. But the red flag absolutely destroyed it for us in terms of the strategy. Gave Red Bull a free set. We could have gone on to another set of tyres, but we'd have had to commit to a set of hards at the end with Lewis, or have him on hards for the restart, which just wasn't sensible. With George, we maybe could have put another set of mediums on, looking back, but those ones hadn't been on very long. And essentially those decisions under the red flag, the timing of it as well, really hurt us. So Max Verstappen wins the race. George Russell comes home second, but it is a double podium for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton finishes third. Leclerc has made it back up to fifth, so I wonder what that will do for the constructors' table. Strange strategy by Red Bull. Yeah, Verstappen wins the race. George Russell's far too happy for a second place that could have been a win. I'm not happy about it. Yeah, Drivers' Championship wise, the gap at the top is now 12 points. Hamilton moves into third, 26 behind Verstappen, who scored 32 points this weekend. George actually only gained 1 point on Lewis across the weekend. We don't lead the Constructors' Championship either, annoyingly. We are now... we stay 7 points behind. We've both scored 47 points. Okay, so in the Constructors' Championship, it's status quo after all of that. Verstappen has extended his lead by 8 points over the course of the weekend. He's so lucky with this one. A red flag in the sprint, given the opportunity to take second when he was nowhere near it. He wouldn't have won today on pure strategy, but our choices under the red flag undid us, and we'll have to go back and look at how we use the tyres on circuits like this to give us the best opportunity under red flags. So a debrief to be had, I think, at Mercedes. And while I'm not happy with the result, it was definitely an exciting episode, wasn't it? Lots happening, lots of chaos. If you want to join me for more chaos, we're going to Baku next, so that'll be fun, won't it? Not a sprint weekend, but just, Baku things. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a nice big thumbs up for me on the video down below. Subscribe as well while you're at it, and make sure you check out my live stream where I've randomised the F1 grid. Max Verstappen isn't in a Red Bull, he's actually in a Mercedes. So we're playing that through with Ferrari, see what happens with a random F1 grid. I'll see you in Baku. For now, it's goodbye.